Today we're taking a look at these MLB matches, which are happening on Friday, July 29, 2022, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 360 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting picks that ends up costing you a lot of money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Going back to our video, we will give you 2 betting picks for each game, a team pick and a total pick based on facts and detailed explanation. So make sure to watch our videos till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Seattle Mariners vs Houston Astros. Our team pick is Houston minus 1.5 runs, and here is why. Seattle is trying to break a historic drought this season, as it has not been the playoffs in several decades. The Mariners are positioned to make a run down the stretch this year, as they entered the All-Star break 9 games above .500 after a hot stretch. They got off to a slow start to the second half, getting swept in a 3-game series against Houston last weekend. Seattle bounced back with a much-needed sweep of its own against Texas, although its combined winning margin in the 3 victories was just 4 runs. The Mariners are in second place in the American League West, but they are still 10 games back of Houston heading into Thursday's slate. Houston has been one of the top teams in baseball over the past 5 years, and that has not changed in 2022. The reigning World Series runner-ups put together a fantastic first half of the season, taking complete control of the AL West. They got off to a hot start to the second half as well, winning 2 games against the Yankees before sweeping Seattle on the road in a crucial series. However, the Astros were dealt a stunning 3-game sweep at Oakland earlier this week, losing 3 straight games to one of the worst teams in baseball. Houston remains 10 games clear of Seattle in the AL West standings and is just 2 games back of the Yankees and Dodgers for the best record in baseball, heading into Thursday's action. Verlander has been one of the best pitchers in baseball over the last decade, and he is in as good a form as ever heading into this start. He has lowered his ERA in 5 straight outings and posted a quality start in almost every appearance this season. Verlander is facing a Seattle lineup that has struggled with consistency this year, which is why it ranks in the bottom third of the majors. Houston should only need to score 3 or 4 runs to cover the spread in this game, so I will take the Astros to win by multiple runs. Our total pick is under the total, and here is why. Both of these teams specialize in pitching, as they each rank in the top 5 in the league in runs allowed. They are each sending out one of their best arms here, with Verlander in particular pitching at an insanely elite level. There is plenty of offensive talent on both sides, but they will take a back seat here. The under is 8-4 in the last 12 meetings between these sides, and there is little reason to expect a break in these trends in this one. Expect to see pitching take center stage. New York Mets vs Miami Marlins. Our team pick is Marlins plus 110, and here is why. There's been nothing but bad news on the injury front for the Marlins lately, so grabbing a series win over the Reds, including a strong come-from-behind effort in the rubber game on Thursday, provided a much-needed lift of spirits. Jesus Aguilar got Miami on the board with a 2-run homer in the 3rd, before adding a 2-run double in the 7th. Down 1 in the 9th, the Marlins tied it on Jesus Sanchez's solo shot before Joey Wendell hit the go-ahead RBI double to decide things. Starter Daniel Castano got 2 outs before being struck by a line drive and leaving with injury. Zach Pop was credited with the win for a scoreless frame, while Tanner Scott recorded his 14th save, despite allowing a run. Aguilar had a 3-hit game with 4 RBI overall, while Jacob Stallings went 2-3 with a double and a run scored. In a potential World Series preview, the Mets turned in an impressive performance to sweep the rival Yankees, finishing things off on Wednesday with a walk-off win. Pete Alonso got things started with a solo homer in the 2nd, before Francisco Lindor added an RBI single the next inning, and while the Yankees tied things late, Starling Marte still gave the Mets the win with a walk-off single in the 9th. Starter Max Scherzer tossed 7 scoreless frames, allowing 5 hits and 2 walks, while striking out 6. Seth Lugo earned the win with 1.2 scoreless innings, striking out 3. Days after being acquired in a trade, slugger Daniel Vogelbach reached base 3 times. While the Mets are a great team, it's tough to pass up Alcantara getting plus odds at this point as he continues to dominate. The Mets' offense hasn't been firing on all cylinders lately, and that's bad news going into a matchup with the best starting pitcher in baseball this season. Alcantara's numbers are terrific across the board, as he's got a spectacular 46 ERA, 72 FIP, with opponents struggling mightily to generate any type of hard contact against him. The overall numbers for the New York offense are strong, but the Mets are only 18th with a 101 WRC+ over the last 30 calendar days. One of the main problems for the Marlins right now is a bullpen that has been thinned by injuries, so the fact that Alcantara routinely goes 7+ while leading the majors in innings pitched by a mile is a good development. Expect a low-scoring win for the Marlins here, as Bassett won't quite be able to match zeros with Alcantara. Our total pick is under 6.5 runs. And here is why. Both teams have been doing well throughout the month of July, as Chris Bassett has a 2.33 ERA in his 3 July starts, while Sandy Alcantara is pitching to a 1.24 ERA in his 4 July starts thus far. Both teams have struggled scoring a lot of runs as well throughout the month, as well as New York is averaging 4.09 runs per game, while Miami is scoring 2.88 runs per game thus far. Looking at the previous 15 days, both teams have been doing well as the Mets are pitching to a 2.17 ERA in their last 9 games, while the Marlins have a 4.24 ERA in his last 12 games. The under is 3.11 in the last 5 games between these teams played in Miami, so go with the under. Los Angeles Dodgers vs Colorado Rockies. Our team pick is Los Angeles Dodgers, minus 1.5 runs, and here is why. It's the second half of the season, and the Dodgers obviously aren't playing around. For context, just look at how they handled their business in their return to Coors Field on Thursday night. They've lost both 3-game meetings they've had in Colorado this season. Perhaps the third time will be the charm in their ensuing 4-game series. That certainly looks to be the case, if the opener is any indication, with the team running up the scoreboard in a 13-0 victory. And you can rest assured there's more, where that firepower came from, with the Dodgers averaging 5.26 runs per game on the road. They conquered Colorado's House of Horrors, and they're certainly capable of doing it again, as long as their offense is rolling. But it wasn't just the run scoring for the Dodgers on Thursday. Yes, we already know it was a complete defensive meltdown from the Rockies in the opener. But then again, their pitching rotation has the 3rd worst ERA, 4.85, in the league, and they're also giving up the 2nd most runs in their home building, 5.36. The fact that they got run over by Los Angeles' offense like a garden gnome isn't surprising in the least. However, what was surprising was their inability to respond offensively. That's the bread and butter for the Rockies when playing at home this season. The floodgates open offensively, and they drown visiting teams. No team is averaging more runs in their home building than the Rockies this season, including the New York Yankees at Yankee Stadium. If they can't find their offense, it's going to be a long weekend with even more losing in store for the team. The Rockies couldn't even muster a single run against the Dodgers in the opener. That's a big problem for a team that depends so heavily on their offense to win games. It's also a problem if you're picking them to cover as dogs. You're literally hoping their bats show up on game day and their pitching isn't too great of a liability. Both of those conditions are much harder to fall into place when they're taking on the number 1 ranked team in the National League. The Dodgers have yet to win a series in Colorado this year, but they're playing like a team on a mission in their 3rd series visit in the second half of the season. Julio Urias has had some ugly run-ins with the Rockies this season, but this game isn't dependent on him pitching a gem for the Dodgers to nab another victory. Sure, the Dodgers have the pitching to keep Colorado off the scoreboard, but as they showed in the opener, they're a juggernaut at the plate against a Rockies pitching rotation that couldn't stop running water on defense. I'm taking the Dodgers on Friday. Our total pick is under 11.5 runs, and here is why. The Dodgers are averaging 5.13 runs per game and 5.26 runs per game on the road. They averaged 4 runs per game in their last 3 games against the Rockies. With Colorado giving up 5.36 runs per game at home, the Dodgers will hit their average in this game. The Rockies are averaging 4.59 runs per game and 5.79 runs per game at home. They averaged 2 runs per game in their last 3 games against the Dodgers. With Los Angeles giving up 3.06 runs per game on the road, the Rockies won't score enough runs to push the score over the total. The Dodgers and Rockies played under the total in their last 2 meetings.